Okay, guys, on with the next unit of the NAD system. This one's the CD player. Let's hope we're having a little bit more luck than what we've had with the tuner and the amp so far. So this is what she looks like. It's a 5220 NAD CD. I've plugged it in. Well, I've plugged the cables in, but I haven't plugged it into mains yet. The back, that's what we're looking at there. Fairly basic system, power in, figure 8, and 2 RCOs. So let's plug it in and see what's going to pop up for me to fix it with this one. I shall turn the amp on, turn him down, plugged in, okay, turns on. Well, straight off, we have no display. Oh dear, that's the next thing. Okay, open? No. Wants to open? Doesn't open. Wants to, but almost seems like it's jammed. The belt is trying to push this unit out. I don't know whether that little drawer is catching somewhere. Nope. Anyway, here we go. Straight off. Drawer's catching. Won't come out. No display. So that's what we've got. Let's get the top off. I won't need this for a little while yet. So let's have a look and see what's under the cover. Right. Slip him back. Lift him straight off. Okay. There's our unit. We have a CD inside. Well, there we go. There's our initial visual inspection. There's been a fair bit of heat up around the regulator area there. Once again, a couple of little caps there that have been fairly warm, but probably nothing that's causing any problems. That's the load unload gearing system in this. As I said, so it's geared, it is not belt. Okay, let's see what happens when this thing tries to get this disc out. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of an overhead view. I don't quite know what's happening there. We may have a split gear. Wants to play now. And it's found the table of content, I think, but there is no display. I have audio out to the amp. At the moment, it's connected in with tuner in to the amp. The amp's turned on. Okay, let's pull the power. Let's have a go at winding out by hand. And yeah, certainly doesn't want to come out. Now it's coming out. What's the go here? Is it the discs were stuck? I think it was. I think the disc was stuck to the top of the spin motor. Let's have a look. All looks okay. It's not sticky or anything. So let's put a bit of power on. And obviously, that's what was wrong. So we'll have to check out the top of this spin motor platter and see what it looks like to try and solve that little mystery. And maybe clean the laser. That may be the reason why it didn't want to lift, but as far as not reading, this disc does have a few scratches and a little bit of dirt across it, but yeah, not terribly bad. Okay, what I'm going to do is check out the spin motor platter, so we'll remove this to start with. One little spring at the back. There's a little clip in here, holds this fella on. And there she comes. There we go. That fella, it's quite good, but that's not the problem. It's this fella here, lots and lots of dirt, and it's a smearing of rubber on these. A little rubber washer runs around the outside of the spin motor. Now, yeah, that does feel not sticky, but yeah, certainly needs a clean. Probably the laser as well. We'll clean this fella up. We'll clean the laser, put the lid back on, and just see if we can get the unit to read a disc. So a little bit of metho on this fella and clean him up. Some alcohol on a cotton bud and clean the lens. Then we'll see how we go. Clean our lens. Just clean around the top. Doesn't look that dirty actually, but maybe enough to just clean the sled a little bit. Now, while I clean that sled with alcohol there, I'll now put a drop of oil on this fella. And smear a little bit of oil just along there. Okay. That's on the sled guides themselves. Well, this fella's nice and clean. So he goes on that spring. Pushes down until we slip him in one side and then pop him in this side. There. Done. Let's see. We'll use the same CD. And it's Royal Philharmonic Orchestra Classical Collection. It could be quite a good CD. Let's see. if he spins up and reads the table of content. That looks promising. That looks good. Let's press play. Oh. And we have sound out, but very, very low volume. What's happening there? Very low volume. Have we got... There's nothing in here as far as volume level. And the amplifier, well, there's a low level. You put it on low level, you get no level. Yeah, very, very low level. Okay, well, this is working. We have no display, which could be backlight in here. There's obviously a backlight in this display. I don't think it's LED. I think it's LCD with backlighting. And we may have to, and that down before it gets me into trouble, we may have maybe a voltage problem, although unusual that the whole thing is working. But anyway, we might start with the front. Let's get the front off and let's have a look at the backlighting arrangement of this. Fairly easy to get the front off. These fellas, which is just a push down on the connector and lift them out. So that's those two, and yeah, all should come out. Let's do that. If you guys are doing any of this work, you never take 240 volts for granted. I normally, unless I'm chasing waveforms and voltages and things, I never work on things with them plugged in. Unless you're chasing the fault, but something like this, always remember, just before you start pulling it apart, just make sure, just double check that you've unplugged it, because it can be nasty. This fella's out. Push him down, and you push these little tabs down and lift those fellas straight up and out. Okay, so I think this should come out. I don't think the door holds this, although I may have to manually slip the door out. Aha, we've got this fella. We've got the power switch down here, which runs up along here and across here to the back. That's also got to come out. Now, the white stripe will always be pin 1, which is marked on the board. The same with these fellas. You've got a white stripe down there on the ribbon cable, and it is labelled number 1 on the board. Right, there's a little cable tie there we've got to get rid of. Now we'll see. There we go. And straight away I can see it is a back lamp. There is the legs for one of the lamps, or maybe for both. There looks like a leg there and a leg here, and one here and one over here. So these will be a tube type small lamp. Right. There we go. We lift the board out. I'm going to get him to lift off there. There we go. There's our board. And obviously our backlighting is behind this little fella. So we're going to unclip him there and there, and very gently move him forward, and we can get at the lamps in behind there, which is in here. Now I'm not sure. Some of these you do have to unsolder. I'll just have a look at this fellow and see, can this be moved forward? I think we're going to, he doesn't really want to move that easily. And you do not want to break any of these connectors along here. So the idea, unsolder that strip. We'll unsolder him, put something down here on the bench, put him down, unsolder him, and that way we can do it a little bit more gently than just pulling the display forward. There we go. And there's our lamps. Now, I'm not sure the voltage of those lamps. We may have to download a circuit on this fella just to find out. But one may be okay. I'll put the meter on and we'll see what they look like. Okay, let's see. This fella is open circuit. This fella, he's open circuit as well. So unfortunately, we can't just throw a few volts across one and find out what he was. I do have some of these little tube lamps. I'm just making certain. But I don't know what voltage they are because they come in different voltages. Anyway, let's get the lamps out. Okay. We lift them out. That's what they are. And, well, as you can see, the length, 20 mil, probably. And about 4 mil, 4 or 5 mil across. Right. We'll go and see, can we round up some of those. And before I do that, what I want to do before I put anything back in here is clean the board up again. Now, once again, my friend, methylated spirits, we soak a cotton bud. This is all I do, or sometimes with a toothbrush, and just get rid of the rubbish off the board before we resolder everything back in. As you can see, it comes off quite easily. And makes it much easier to resolder the board when we're putting it back in. I'll go and find what these things are. Righto, we've got a couple of lamps, 6-volt lamps. Now I'll just flick the picture on the screen that I've downloaded a service manual for this unit from Hi-Fi Engine, not Vinyl Engine. Hi-Fi deals more with CD players and amplifiers and systems, so forth, whereas Vinyl Engine deals with turntables and the older reel-to-reel stuff and things like that. But anyway, this is part of the diagram. Okay, and you can see the lamps there, N201 and N202. They're 5.5 volts at 120 mil. I've got 100 milliamp at 6 volt lamps, so they will certainly fit the bill for this. Okay, let's get back onto this and put these in. These are a little bit shorter than the other ones, but I'm certain they will fit in no problem. My fingers are a little bit bumbly, a little bit ratty at the moment because workshop's fairly cold here today. It's about 7 outside and the workshop's not much warmer. So, yeah, a little bit cool. Okay, one in and second one in. Okay. And, yep, he works fine. And that fella, there's both of them. Okay, both working okay. There we go. And now it's just a matter of going along here, resoldering. Okay, here we go. Right, now we'll scrub this down with a toothbrush to make sure that there's nothing touching, and also have a look underneath the Maggie lamp that I've got here just to make sure. Give him a good scrub, and it's looking pretty good. I think that looks pretty damn fine actually, but I will now put him under my magnifying lamp to make sure that he's right. Right, guys, well, yeah, I'm ready to put this back together now. You wouldn't believe this. Having the top sitting up here, all ready to put the board back in it. My sleeve caught one corner of it, tipped it upside down, tipped all the little knobs and spacers and everything out of here onto the bench. And an hour later, I've just managed to find where everything went. Yeah, also had to refer to the manual. There was a couple of little spaces in here that, couldn't be worked out. But anyway, just going back together. This is all part of the deal with this NAD system. Okay, well, he's sitting in there nicely. Always got to be sure that nothing is touching, that all switches are working before you start screwing things down. All looks good there. That was there. Okay, a little bracket on the end. That all should line up and should be right. And of course, the next mystery is the low volume, but let's get the front on first and check everything here. Slip that over there, and the front just slips on. And there are two screws either end. Three underneath. Here we go. Right, and we'll do the same with these fellas. There we go. We've missed a couple. So you'll see what I've done there. See how we've missed a couple at the end there. They've bent back. So, yeah. Got to be careful of that. Pull him out. Straighten him all out again. I wonder, can we just get this fella to push in? Yes. There he is. There we go. He's just pushed in. Right, and we'll do the same with this fella. Okay, line him all up, make sure they're in their holes, and just wriggle him and push him in. Now, when we start it up, we should have a display. And let's turn him on. Look at that. That's pretty classy. And that's actually red. It is not orange as it looks in the camera. But anyway, all is working there, which is not in bad order. And see if it reads it. And we're not reading. Okay. Ooh. We'll just check everything for connection. Maybe power supply could be low power to the spin motor. There's a possibility. We'll better check some voltages on the power supply, I think, because that did work, but it was going for a few minutes. Let's have a look. See on this fellow. Does it read? Yes. Does it play? No. Yes, it does. It does play. But we have no audio. I think we've got a power supply problem, actually. Okay. It will work a lot better when these are plugged in. Come on, guys. I'm just about frazzled with the NAD. Yeah, okay. And very low volume. And quite an audible hum. So I think we will look at the power supply a little bit closer. No worries, reads table of content. Seems to be a lot more stable after a few minutes of operation. I'm going to get the circuit diagram and let's see what we can do with this. Well, there's more developments with this CD player. Couldn't get it to play ball. Sometimes it'd read the disc, sometimes it wouldn't. Low volume, couple of buttons, intermittent on the front, just various things. But okay, the only thing that relates to everything is the power supply. So what I've done here is just, I didn't have the camera running, but it's fairly uneventful. Taken out the 3 filter caps from your main power supply. These little fellas, Unicon, never heard of them. 16 volt, 2200s, and they're dead. I didn't know. I did check the voltage on here, which was reasonable, but then I put the crow on the B plus lines, the 5 volt lines, and there was all this ripple, like really bad ripple, like in around 1.5 volts of AC content. So I thought, okay, must be these. They looked okay. They looked fine. They're not hard or anything. Pulled the 3 of them out, and the best one reads about 120 microfarad out of 220. And ESR, sky high. It's about 5 to 10 ohms on all of them. So out they go. So I thought, well, while I'm doing this, obviously these little fellas in here have all been pretty warm. So let's replace, especially these little fellas in here, let's replace them. Hopefully, the rest of it is not too bad. There is one in here tucked in beside this regulator. Obviously, they don't stand the heat real well, but not sure what temperature these fellas are, but they certainly wouldn't be 105 degrees or anything like that. So anyway, let's get a couple of these out, replace the main, fill the caps, and then put this thing together again and see what happens now. Rightio, that's all the little caps in there. That little fella seems to be okay. He's okay. But the rest, they were very, very sus. Anyway, I've got one odd 2200 16 volter, and odd because he's a different colour, that's all. Oh boy, I hope this is the end of the hassles with this CD player. Screw him down. One in the back here to hold the RCA sockets in place. Earth tag, earth wire for the CD deck. I had to lift these up. You probably saw me taking them out. We pushed them back in, right in, and then we pushed the top down to lock the ribbon cable. Now we connect our amplifier. We shall put power on this little fella and spin him up. And there she goes. And it's reading and it's playing. So, right. Now, plug in our amplifier. And the CD looks a little bit faster on the camera than what it's actually spinning. It's quite spinning at that speed. Let's get a different angle. Right. Our amplifier's on. Full volume and no hum this time. Okay. Put him in. And play. And let's see if we can not rattle up some copyright, really. Skip, extract. Oh, yes. And we have very, very nice level. Some people call me the space cowboy. Yes, and we probably not go into that. And we better not go too far into that one either. Wow, all working very, very nicely. Very impressed with this. So there we go. Capacitors. Never underestimate caps. They can give you all sorts of hassles and all sorts of faults with this, like not reading discs, intermittent, low volume, a low level hum to the amplifier at full volume. What else was, well, there was a display out, but that wasn't anything to do with the power supply. Although maybe it was, maybe, but normally these lamps have got a habit of going, so possibly not. There we go. We'll just check everything, and we can go back and forward and and scan works. Repeat comes up, memory comes up, display different displays, the time remaining and the time playing, so forth. Reset, just resets back, and you can start the disc again. And skip a couple of tracks forward there. And yeah, we better not play too much of that for YouTube. It's a shame. We love our music. Okay, there we go. Let's put the lid on him. Let's call him a wrap, eh? Okay, well, we'll get the lid on this. And I'm almost afraid to say the NAD tape deck is next. I'm going to split these into separate video segments, as you've probably guessed, because there's just too much footage to put in one video, and well, they're different units, so we'll do that. But yes, a bit of a trick with this fella, but that's electronics for you. So there we go. It is together. It is an NAD 5220 CD player. And there's your dual voltage selector on the back. Front, there she is. Lots of reflections in here at the moment with the light. Let's get it off the bench and get the tape deck in. Okay, I hope you liked this video. Please remember to like and please subscribe. It helps me chuff along these videos, and yeah, helps with the old YouTube content there. So, yep, give us a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe, comment. Welcome to any comments on this gear. On if you've had one of these, is there any other modifications with these? All sorts of things. Let's have a chat about it. Okay, until next time, bye for now.